Chapter 36. Waiting. Tuesday, May 28th, 1935. The next morning, I feel my mother watching me as I rinse my cereal bowl, search for my history homework, put on my socks. She has her makeup on, but her eyes look puffy, her face swollen. "What?" I ask her. She says nothing. Busies herself getting Natalie ready to go. When I get home from school, Teresa, Natalie, and my mother are sitting in the living room. My mother is radiant. Natalie was wonderful. She spoke clearly in the new Natalie way. She tried her best to look at Mr. Purdy when she spoke. She even told a joke. A joke! "Why did the chicken cross the road?" my mom said. Natalie asked Mr. Purdy. "Well, I don't know, Natalie," Mr. Purdy said. "Because one of its buttons rolled to the other side," Natalie said. Okay, it wasn't funny, but still. Even as happy as my mother seems about this, she is still watching me in a way that makes me uncomfortable. "Come on, Moose," she says after I polish off a stack of cold pancakes from last night's supper. "I want to talk, just the two of us." Teresa chatters on about tomato juice. Natalie seems to be listening. I even see her look up at Teresa once or twice. Teresa has a real instinct for what Natalie will find fascinating. "Who's going to watch Natalie?" I asked. Though really, what I was wondering is what my mom wants to talk about. I don't have talks with my mom, only with my dad. "Me, of course," Teresa says. My mom nods. She smiles at Teresa, but not at me. It's almost as if she doesn't want to look at me. We walk down the stairs to the dock. She fiddles with the button on her sweater. "I'm sorry about last night," she says. What do I say to this? Nothing. I say nothing. I'm angry, to make this easier for her. She looks across the water to Berkeley. "I didn't like it. I didn't like what you said." She shakes her head. "She dragged me all the way out here to tell me that? This has to be the biggest understatement in the world." "You don't care that it made me mad," my mom says in a quiet tone of voice. "You didn't care that it upset your father. You didn't care that it was the night before Natalie's interview. You didn't care about anything. I've never been so furious with you in all of my born days." My mom's voice is strangely calm. She isn't angry, but I am. I am seeing inside. I open my mouth to tell her how wrong she is, how unfair she's being. "Wait." She holds her finger to her lips. "Let me finish." "But I see how much you care about Natalie. That's the part that didn't make sense. All night I tossed and turned. I kept waking and asking why. Moose of all people, why did he say that? Why? And you know what? I could only come up with one answer. You did it because you believed in your heart it was the right thing to do. You were doing what you thought would help your sister." She stops. Tears spill down her face. "I can't imagine how I could ask for anything more from you. I can't imagine how I could." She's crying now, but watching me, looking at me. I take a swallow of air, like suddenly I have to remind myself to breathe. My mother never does this. She never tries to imagine how I feel. I take another swallow of air and pretend interested in a big barge moving slowly past Angel Island. I don't want to cry. "Did you tell Mr. Purdy?" I asked. My words came out deep and rich. I hardly recognized my voice. "No." My mother looks directly at me now. "He didn't ask, and I didn't say. But it's a conversation we need to have. I know that now, Moose." Her voice squeaks. "I do." That night, my mother makes a wonderful dinner. Roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, green beans with almonds, orange salad, cornbread, and cream of asparagus soup. She is just cutting into the lemon meringue pie when we hear the knock. Mrs. Capone?" My dad whispers. Natalie stops eating. My mom takes a deep breath. She hands me a pie server. My father takes her hand. Together, they follow Mrs. Capone. Our apartment is suddenly so silent, so empty. Natalie's head moves down, close to her plate, the way she always used to eat. I only realize now it's been months since I've seen her eat this way. She shovels her pie in one bite after another, with no time to chew. I kept eating, but now the pie tastes dull and cold like baby food. I cut myself another piece, but I can hardly chew. My neck stiffens. It turns to stone. My stomach feels as if I've swallowed a quart of vinegar. Where are they? My father's footsteps on the landing are slow and heavy. When he opens the door, his face is sagging and deeply wrinkled. The decision is the same. Not ready, he informs the floor. My dad's shaking hands find his toothpicks. He pops two in his mouth, goes in his room, and closes the door.